start that again because my brain just switched off. Right, so now we've done the what do you pull a face for? You just pull a weird face. Yeah. Ignition. Hi guys, welcome back to another video and the channel. Today is the day. I'm going to try and start Maggie. There's a couple of last little bits that we've got to do. There's some bits that I haven't put back on yet, like the parts for the air tube. I've left the air tube off so I can actually get to bits because it makes it easier for static timing and stuff like that. So first thing we've got to do, top the gearbox oil up, because we lost a little bit when we put it in, and yes, I know you should have left it dry, blah 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 blah. The engine was sat for a long time and I didn't want to leave it for a long time with no oil in it, so we've got to check levels, top that back up, and then the earth strap's all done, so everything under the car is done. We've got to just double check the wiring to the coil and the alternator and the distributor, and then we've got to set static timing. So we're going to use the Haynes manual to get the static timing points. Then we're going to set the carb to its factory standard setting, because we can tune it afterwards once it's because bear in mind it's a new carb, it's not the carb that came off it, so it's not tuned. So that's the plan for today, and then hopefully we should be able to turn the key, she'll fire up and everything will be fine. I mean, hopefully, maybe. So let's get on. Right, so when you fill in the gearbox, all you've got to do is fill it up until the point that it starts to trickle out, and then it's full, apparently. That'll do. Okay, so now we've done the gearbox oil, we're just going to check the engine oil, which is spot on. Obviously, once it's started, we'll need to turn it back off again and then check the oil again, because obviously that's going to then fill the oil filter. So we just need to make sure that it's not running low, which it shouldn't do. There's a litre difference between minimum and maximum. So next thing we'll do is, what will I do? We'll do the carb, because that's fairly straightforward. Okay, right, what we're going to do is we're going to set the carb to its standard factory position, which it may already be because this carb has been rebuilt, but belt and braces, you want to make sure it's right. So they're quite simple, these little SU carbs to work on. They're a bit of a faff to get your head round what they do and how they work, but once you've got your head around it, it's quite simple. So we take these two screws off, and then that'll allow us to remove the float chamber and the jets.
It's not the float chamber.
The chamber pot and the jet. Right, this is actually set flush. So good job we did check it. Right, so now what we need to do, it's going to be quite difficult for you to see, but underneath there is an adjustment screw, and I need to mark this adjustment screw and then wind it out 2 full turns. So a paint pen is better, but I haven't got one, so a Sharpie to the rescue. So I don't know how much you'll see, to be fair, but because unfortunately the filter and everything is all in the way, but you should be able to see that brass bit in there You should be able to see that move.
Hand out the way then.
Alright, boss. You know, I've been told off. So that is now set to factory standard. That doesn't mean it's right, it just means that it's set to factory standard. So we can put all this back together, set the static timing, and then that should allow it to start. Might not be nice and run and smooth running, but it'll be right. The jet in there, very careful that you don't bend the needle. Oh, sorry. Then damper back in. Then we put the screws in without dropping them, which means I'll drop them. Oh no, I've split my glove. These gloves are brilliant. I've not had any split on me at all, but today I've had 2 pairs. What's the chances? Right, so first thing we do, take out the spark plug in number 1. No, they're not new spark plugs, but they're not that old either. Even though they look a bit mucky, they're not old. They're fine. Right, so we use a screwdriver, but this is a flat blade, flat-ended screwdriver. You can see it's actually a Torx bit. Eileen's going to hold it on the top of the piston, and when she feels it come up, that's when it's at TDC. That gone down.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I can't control the speed.
Dropping away.
Okay.
So it needs to come up higher than that. That's going back down. I think that's it.
Okay. That looks about right to me. So now what I've got to do is check the markers underneath, which is such a stupid place to put it. If you look under here, you'll see those 3 pointers. You see them? Yeah. I'll try and get the light so you can see it there. So what we've got to do is make sure that the notch on the flywheel, on the crank pulley, is lined up with where we want it to be static timed wise. So we just got to double check with the Haynes manual now as to what that is, whether it's 5 degrees before, 10 degrees before, or TDC, and then we should be right. So let's check that out. Now we've got the engine in top dead centre, we can now set the distributor. Should be just there. Right. Okay, so you can adjust it with the advanced and retarder knob on the carburetor, so we can now pinch that up. That should be in the right place. As long as I don't knock it. Right then. You always know it's a scary moment when you're connecting the battery.
Halford's finest.
Halford's finest. It does have a 3-year warranty though, so. Okay, so bring you up to speed. I can't remember what the last bit we recorded was. Anyway, yes, so static timing is now done. In theory, the timing is there or thereabouts. There's a little bit of minute manoeuvring you can do with the advance and retard on the distributor. The carburetor is set to standard. Coolant is in, just so that you believe me, there's coolant in there. There you go. Coolant is in there, but obviously the thermostat hasn't opened or anything, hence the reason why that's not on, because we need to circulate it around the engine. I've got spark tester on there, on the spark plug, and as far as we're aware,
the coil is right.
The coil is right and the wiring is correct. So we've got to do a fire test. And for any of you guys that know what a fire test is, that's basically where you touch the terminal on the battery and see if anything goes bang.
I'm going to just stay back here.
Yeah. So this is quite concerning, but no fires. This is good news. Obviously we've still got to turn the ignition on, because that's when everything should come alive. Battery brace back in. Although this isn't essential, it's nice to know that it's on and correct. So I've got no parts left on the car. So next thing to do is basically stick the key in the ignition and turn it on. Oh, interior lights on.
Oh, we have power.
So she's alive again.
Kind of.
Right. Gear. Fire watch. Ready?
Yeah. Fuel in fuel filter. Oh, really strong smell of fuel.
Okay. So, though we can't leave it for long, the ignition is on. Yes. So, no leaks.
No.
Fuel pump is operating. No fires.
Not yet.
This
The
is
windscreen wipers appear to not be working properly.
no, but the windscreen wiper motor works, which is the thing that I didn't think would.
But it's not wiping properly.
Yeah, because this kept pushing out.
No.
So
That was quite funny.
I'm sure it was. Let's just hope it hasn't broken.
That unit moves an awful lot though.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to.
No.
Just tie wrap it down.
No. Right. Okay, flick the ignition back on and then try that. So it's the, you know which one it is now, yeah? And it sounds okay. Okay, off. But it's okay, so it's resetting in the wrong place. That's fine, because we'll just take the blades off and move them down here. No, hang on, turn it on. No, because they go the wrong way. Right, stop a sec. They're definitely wired up. Right, we need to investigate that. Right, you ready? Choke.
No idea.
Okay, it's definitely moved, so ignition. Well, it turns over. It was really loud and I was trying to work out why, but it's probably something to do with this big hole in the floor. chokes on, don't forget. Okay, choke. That could be because there's a bit too much choke. Yeah, that's probably exhaust paint. I can't, it's bogging out. On the exhaust?
I think so.
I do remember saying on the video it will definitely blow.
I think it has. That pancake air filter is quite loud, but
Yeah.
no, it is separate to that. If you listen,
No blow.
no.
It's with no tuning or anything. Sounds fantastic. But it's always sounded like that. So, what I need to do now is put the heater on and set it to maximum.
Why?
Because then that puts water into the matrix. Right. I don't mean Keanu Reeves. The problem is that I don't. I think. Yeah, that's probably coming off the exhaust as it bakes. Likelihood is that's the paint curing. Don't forget it had a fresh coat of paint. Yeah, it's coming off the exhaust manifold. I painted that, don't forget. Oh, she sounds fantastic. Right, so it's running. Can't seem to get any heat out of the heater matrix, which is weird because the radiator's hot. It's circulating. That pipe's hot. This pipe's warm. Yet it's coming out in the cab cold. So a little confused by that at the minute. But anyway, wiper motor's doing something a bit silly.
Not settling.
I think it's in reverse.
Yeah, it's like it's the wrong way round.
Yeah, and I've just got to try and work it out because I'm just pleased that it works. Because I couldn't get it to work on the bench. So it's good that it does. So we just need to work out why that's not setting back in the right position. The fuel pump works, so we know the fuse box works. I've got to work out what that is.
Doesn't seem to be important.
No, but it was plugged in to the fuse box. So I don't know whether they just used the fuse box to give it an earth, or whether that's supposed to be an earth for something. So we've got to test that. The battery's charging, so we know the alternator's connected correctly. The ignition's all working, the light's coming on and off. Right, we now need to adjust the clutch pedal. You should have 1 1/4 inch play with one finger on the clutch pedal from its rest position to the point where it touches the springs. So let's see where we are. It's about 2 inches. Yeah. So I need to adjust it in. I'd get you in under here, but it's really hard to see, so. My gearbox is not right. It won't go into anything. Right, she wouldn't go into gear. After a small meltdown from both of us, the gearbox was still fucked. More fucked. I tried putting it in gear and then starting it, and it was making a horrible noise until I came halfway off the clutch, and then it slipped into the gears beautifully. So the Haynes manual tells you that you need 1¼ inch travel on the pedal, but doesn't tell you, as nothing does on the internet, where that travel needs to be from. You know, is that from the pedal all the way up, or is that the point where it's just touching the springs? So at the minute I've got it where it's just touching the springs. You push the pedal all the way down, you can't get it in gear. Now, I don't know what it's doing, but for some reason you can't get it in. So now what I'm going to do is an experiment. I'm going to slacken it off, which is completely counterintuitive to what you would expect, but I'm going to slacken it off, and hopefully that'll allow us to get gears, because we have just had it going forwards and backwards, so it definitely goes into gears. Very counterintuitive, but you have to slacken the clutch off to make it work.
And it does work.
And it does work. When I had it before, I think the spring's not quite enough to return it to top position. As you can see, it's not bad, but it was a donated spring as the old spring, which is this, that one just there. You're not supposed to see gaps in it. So it's very worn, so I put a donated spring on it, but I don't think it's quite enough to pull it back up into the top position. But the clutch works, and it's not dragging when it's ticking over, so even if it's in that position, there's no noises, so it's not dragging. Makes no difference where it sits, look. Ignition. I think I know the reason.
So it wasn't that?
No, it's just suddenly dawned on me.
Why has that not made any difference to anything?
Because the wheel is circular. Why would it make any difference? Think about it. Okay, that's got a park motor on it. We've never had it park. If you remember, we always have to keep turning it off at the right point to stop it in the location. It's never been able to park properly. Remember?
Yeah.
So, I bet you underneath this there is only partial contact pads, and that's what tells it when it's parked. Boom.
So what? I don't understand.
So it thinks it's parked at that point.
So it's not making contact?
No, it can't be, because the wires won't let you do that. Yes, they will. What's saying it's not supposed to be that way round, for instance?
Can you not just hold it and turn it on?
I can try. Hopefully it won't electrocute me.
See, this should have to be on.
Yeah. Okay. Try now. Okay. Now. No, it's important that you just let it turn off. So switch them on. Now turn it off. Try that. Okay, ignition off.
Check your main beacon.
Right then, day 2. Concept proved, Maggie starts, which is great. We sorted out the gearbox issue that wasn't a gearbox issue. It turned out that the clutch was adjusted too much. So that's now sorted. On to the next thing. The flasher, managed to get all the lights working, but the indicators stopped working, and basically this cheap Chinese flasher unit basically shit itself. Yeah, it turns out that Uncle Dave came to the rescue, and Oscar. So he messaged me last night saying, I've got a flasher unit, and you can also have the one off Oscar. So I'm going to try this one first, because Dave says that this one's a little bit intermediate in its operation, but I'd like to try and use that one if I can, so that he can have that one back. But I'm going to order some anyway, and I'm going to order more than enough, so we've both got a couple of spares. They're not overly expensive, but they're a pig to get if you're in an emergency, so have some spares. This one's got B, P and L on it. B being X on the new ones. Yes. So we need the Haynes Book of Lies, Haynes Book of Information, and then we can see what wires come from where. But I'm also going to stick a test meter on it as well, because I'm not fully convinced that the wires are right. Right, okay, this is the old one from Dave. He took it off because he was getting slightly intermittent workings with it, but I don't really want to use his new one off Oscar, so I thought I'll try this one first. We double checked the wires, so we've used a test meter, as you can see, and we stuck a test meter to double check that our positive is our positive. Now, it is correct in the Haynes manual, I'd like to point out, but it's not very clear. So if you're not good with electrics, like I'm not particularly good with electrics, it's quite hard to follow. But with a little bit of research on the internet and that, you can work it out. But the premise of it is the green wire, the solid green wire, goes to the B or the X on your flasher terminal, flasher unit, sorry. That's battery, so that comes direct from the 12-volt source, which is the fuse box. The the green and the brown is the flasher output, so that goes to your switch on the dashboard that then depicts which way you're turning it, depicts which indicators flash. And then the light green is the little bulb in the end of your stalk, if you've still got it. Right hand, left hand. So Dave saves the day. Okay, good news. Tack works, clock works, stereo works, engine works, as you can hear, USB connected, washer pump, Works. Wipers.
Kind of
Work.
work.
Lights. Work. I need to look at this side light because I think the bulb's a bit dodgy, but you might notice that they're very, very white. These are LED headlights. Yes, I know, alright, I know, but they're really good and I can see with them, and that's all that matters. So all the electrics are done now. I'm just going to tidy the wiring harness up, make it a little bit neater. I've got 2 brackets for the hose duct to put in, and then it's time to clean it because she's been sat for a long time. There's a little bit of mould, so we need to get that cleaned off. So that's what we're doing. Fingers crossed she's fixed. So we're going to call it on this one. Thank you for watching the series. It's been 6 months since she's been on the road. So yeah, thanks for watching the series of taking the engine out, stripping it down, sorting the gearbox, putting it all back together again, and then getting her back on the road. There's a lot more to do on Maggie. She needs...
Oh, by no means finished.
Yeah, she's by no means finished. She's a bit of a project car. There's lots more that still needs to be done, but they'll be in upcoming videos. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.